Hey everyone, welcome to Crypto Conversation, and this is your host Shiv. Today we're going to go through some news and updates, some news on Ripple, right? News on Ripple partnerships. We're also going to talk about the Indian government. One of the minister from Indian government said that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are nothing more than a Ponzi scheme, right? So we're going to talk about a little bit about that. And there was a circulation once again, I think, circular once again, warning people about the risk into cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin and all that. So we're going to talk about all that. And at the end, we're also going to talk about this person, the Catherine Wood. She's the CEO of ARK Investment, which is one of the largest firms. She said that Bitcoin idea, the Bitcoin protocol, is probably bigger than what Apple is, right? Where even though there is no comparison between Bitcoin and Apple, but that she said that the idea of Bitcoin is far bigger than Apple. So we're going to talk about all that once again. Welcome back. For those of you who just subscribed, thank you so much for subscribing and coming back to this channel. This is channel we talk about cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, blockchain, ICOs, news developments, and market sentiments. Just to keep you updated so that you can make the best decision for yourself. Obviously, we don't do any investment advice and you should not be taking that. So the disclaimer is always that everything that we cover on this channel is just my personal opinion and news and not a financial or investment advice. So once again, let's start with the coin market cap as usual. So what do you see here? Of course, the first thing that we see, the Ripple growing rapidly. Yesterday it was about 1.89. Today it's gone up to 2.57 and it keeps surging every day, guys. So I don't know where it's going. Maybe $3, maybe $5, maybe it's gonna triple, maybe it's gonna 10 times, right? We did speak about Ripple, what exactly Ripple is and why is it growing. So of course, but there are some other news also about partnership that I want to share with you so that you can make the best decision for yourself. Of course, the biggest worry right now also is Bitcoin going down every day right now, 13,606. The biggest reason right now, if you look at the BTC dominance, look at this. This is the first time I ever see that the 38% Bitcoin dominance. This is never has happened. I think this is the first time that we see this. So, right, and the total market cap is about 594 billion. So the total market cap is pretty good. However, the BTC dominance is of a concern right now. Wonderful. Let's move on to the Ripple news. Would want to make this video as short as possible. Don't worry about that. But it's just that there is a lot many things that I want to cover, which are pretty interesting, right? So one of the things is also I forgot to tell you is about the Poloniex, right? So if you're holding any funds in Poloniex, this could be the time when you want to probably withdraw all your funds, because they're coming up with an ID requirements for legacy users where you need to provide your identification. And this is just to let you know, the Poloniex is also a US based cryptocurrency exchange. So you will need to give your ID. So of course we'll talk about that, but let's start with the Ripple first. So Ripple cryptocurrency exchange, Ripple cryptocurrency, a Japanese group agrees to use it. So what exactly happened, right? So last week's announcement that 3 of Japan's big credit card companies have signed up to use Ripple technology triggered another bounce in the price of XRP, which is up 6-folds in the last month and 300-folds in this year, right? Now, so here is the news. So Ripple has done a good job of convincing big institutions to use their currency, said the chief executive of Consortium, which advises and invests in companies that use blockchain. The worry is that when the price goes up so much, it moves the focus from the technology to just the speculation, which is so true. Right now, so there is another announcement that they have made. So recently, this announcement, we're going to go through this announcement here. That says the consortium, the top Korean banks work with Japan Bank Consortium to modernize cross-border payment systems. So what are they talking about? They are talking about the Japan Bank Consortium, coalition of 61 banks in Japan organized by SBI Ripple Asia, has announced the launch of a new Ripple pilot with Woori Bank and Siren Bank, 2 of the South Korea's largest bank with collective market capitalization of more than 30 billion. So as you can clearly see that they are going to use a Ripple technology. So all those Ripple holders out there, congratulations, right? Right. So this is a good news for the Ripple holders who are probably investing in Ripple and probably who are not. Maybe you can consider this as your investment. Right, so that's the news from the Ripple. There are some other news as well. Of course, I'm going to leave this link in the description below. Go ahead and read that. There are some concerns also at the same time. One of the concerns that has been raised by Ryan Six, he's tweeted yesterday that buyer be aware. He says, I know of no banks that are using Ripple. Uh, but again, having said that, I would not agree with this, right? And then B, he said that, oh, what is happening here? B, he said that would touch it if anyways it is controlled by SB company and 20% of all XRP in existence were taken by the founder. So there are some concerns that he has raised. However, I do see that a lot of banks are started using it, a lot of partnerships which are happening with Ripple technology. So it's a good news for the people who have been holding Ripple for a long time, right? So the use of Ripple Net to send across border payments reinforces the financial institutions are ready to provide a modern payment experience and enable the internet of value. One thing that I do want to share over here is this. This is by the CEO of XRP, right? XRP, the Ripple chief executive, told the Financial Times the reason for that is the market has realized that XRP is a highly efficient payment system that is solving real world problems for real world customers with real money. He also said that the people are increasingly realizing that Bitcoin is not going to be a panacea for all the payments problems that people imagined it would solve. And payment with XRP settle in a few seconds. But if you buy a cup of coffee with Bitcoin, it will be cold by the time the payment has been settled, guys. So as you guys know, I'm not really a big believer of XRP, but for the people who are out there who are investing in RIPRP or probably looking out to invest in XRP or buying RIPRP, this is definitely a good news, guys, right? So, and this makes a lot of sense. However, there are other cryptocurrencies also who does the same thing. But the best part about Ripple is it complies with all the regulations and governments and things like that. So possibly a Ripple can triple or maybe 10 times in the coming year 2018. So do look out for Ripple for sure, right? Now let's go ahead and talk about this news that talks about Bitcoin cryptocurrencies are like Ponzi schemes, says Indian government. Right. So what did he say yesterday? He said that there is a real and heightened risk of investment bubble of type seen in Ponzi schemes, which can result in sudden and prolonged crash, exposing investors. Well, this is kind of true because we do see the cryptocurrencies prices are pretty volatile. It goes down, it goes up. I mean, you're not really investing into cryptocurrencies for a short term. It's a long-term hold because you are investing into technologies. And I think this is something that has been misunderstood over here, right? So when you're investing into cryptocurrencies, you are essentially what you're investing into a project, into a technology which will flourish, which is called a blockchain technology. So consumers need to be alert and extremely cautious to be avoid getting trapped in such Ponzi schemes. So obviously he's calling it a Ponzi scheme. Now, there is a wonderful reply that I got, which is right here. And of course, before we jump onto that, I do want to mention here the ministry also pointed the 3 separate cautions by India's central government, right? This is something that we have read. The first cautionary note was in late 2013. And then there was one in February 17 this year. And then one again was recently in December 17. So there have been 3 cautionary note, and this was again repeated by one more yesterday. As you can see right here, this is dated on 29th of December. This was repeated yesterday. Press Information Bureau, Government of India, Ministry of Finance. There has been a phenomenal increase in recent times in the price of virtual currencies, including Bitcoin in India and globally. The VCs don't have this is called VCs, not venture capital. This is like virtual currency. But one thing that I do want to share is it is not just virtual, right? So there is a difference between a virtual and cryptography, which I understood. Anything can be virtual. Like for Facebook is a virtual Facebook. It's a virtual company. Instagram is virtual. The fiat money in the digital form is also virtual. The difference here is it is not just, if you mention here, you will see a lot of VCs here, which mentions to virtual currencies. But there's nowhere I see it as cryptocurrency, and that is what my point here is, that it is not just virtual, but it's also cryptographic. And we all know how secure the cryptography is. When you cryptography when you do a cryptography on something, basically it becomes immutable, it becomes unbreakable. uh, that means it cannot be manipulated. So this is something which is missing here. So everywhere it says VCs, which means virtual currency, but nowhere it talks about cryptocurrency. So cryptographic is the key, guys. I mean, Bitcoin is so successful because of the cryptographic behind it. The cryptography ensures the trust. The cryptography ensures there is no manipulation. Cryptographic ensures the uh, uh, cryptography is the security behind it, right? So that is what is not mentioned here. So just my opinion, right, guys? And of course, so this is something that was floating yesterday on social media, and this was released yesterday from the by the government of India, Ministry of Finance, that they have not legalized any cryptocurrencies as yet, and they are working on it, right? So as you can see here, it's also said the VCs are not backed by government fiat. These are also not legal tender. Hence, VCs are not currencies. These are also being described as coins. There is, however, no physical attribute to these coins. Obviously, yes, you don't get the physical coins. And the government says Reserve Bank of India has not authorized any VCs as medium of exchange. Further, the government of India has not given license to any agency for the working and exchange, right? Of course, so these exchanges that you have right now in India, most of them are self-regulated. They do KYC. It's a self-regulated exchanges right now, right? So it says that the investors and the other participants therefore deal with the VCs entirely at their own risk and should best avoid participating therein. And yes, but there have been some talk about the regulations as well, which I have not been able to find. So let me have a look at this over here that talks about the regulations which are being taken up. Right over here, I guess. Right. So while Bitcoin is not officially recognized by authority, it is not ruled illegal either. Right. So this is another thing that definitely has to be noted here. That said, while Bitcoin is not officially recognized by authority, it is not ruled illegal either. The ambiguity, repeated warning aside, has been India's Supreme Court call on the central governments to issue clear guidelines to regulate the flow of Bitcoin in the country. So whether the regulations are coming in or not coming in, when are they coming in? Because there is a lot of confusion here. It's not legal, it's not legal, then where do we stand? So these are the kind of status of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies right now in India. And of course, exchanges have been facing some regulatory issues from the banks. The deposits and withdrawals are pretty slow. I think most of them are not even accepting them. So this is the news right now in India. Let's talk about what is happening with the Poloniex.com, one of the first, I would say, cryptocurrency exchanges that existed. So the Poloniex is now going to go ahead and make the ID requirement mandatory for legacy users. So if you have an account with Poloniex, maybe this is the right time to probably move your finances from there to Binance, and this is one of the reasons Binance has really taken off. Because when it comes to Binance, they are dealing with crypto to crypto, so they are dealing with cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin and others, but they don't will deal with USDT. And this is something that has happened also with Bitfinex and Bittrex, right? So yes, if you're a Poloniex user, if you are holding any account on Poloniex, be careful of that. Okay, that's just excuse me for that, right? So this is what it is. It says once verified, legacy accounts will be able to see their withdrawal limits increase to $25,000 per day compared to the current limits, which is 2,000. So in simple terms, if you're going to use Poloniex in future, you have to compile with the regulatory requirements, which means you have to give out your ID requirements on the Poloniex. So something to be aware of. Now let's talk about a little bit about Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin is coming out to be a bigger idea than the Apple itself, and this comes out from the CEO of ARK Investment. Now I was googling a little bit about ARK Investment, so this is the site of the ARKinvestment.com, and she is the CEO right here, and this is what she had to say. Right, so she says that Bitcoin is probably a bigger idea than the Apple, guys. Of course, these are just an opinion which are coming out. I thought I would share with you guys. And the last one, the Bitcoin is facing the moment of truth. Now, why is that? Why is that statement? And it is a moment of truth because the price of the Bitcoin has really slashed from 19,000 to 13,000, and now most people are moving towards Ripple. So if you see, the Bitcoin and Ripple are so opposite right now. So while Ripple is climbing, Bitcoin is falling. So is it that people want to use Ripple more? People are more happy with the current banking system. They don't want to use Bitcoin. Or is Bitcoin losing the trust? And this is why they call it is a moment of truth. Actually, what will happen? Because we are at a point whether it will shoot up or it might just keep dropping. So here is what he says, that either this sharp price correction will act as a catalyst for expanding what until now has been a quite limited institutional involvement in this market, or it will become a stage in the deflation of a remarkable and historic asset bubble. So if it goes Bitcoin, if it climbs up starting from here, probably it should touch its all-time high, which is $20,000 plus, maybe 25 or something, or it will keep down, guys. Whatever happens, I would always urge you guys to have a diversified portfolio, maybe Bitcoin, maybe Ripple, maybe other cryptocurrencies that you believe in, and not putting everything into Bitcoin or one particular cryptocurrencies. At the same time, also understand the risk involved right now in India. If you are in India, that a lot of circulars are coming out from the Indian government, so it might just happen that they just might go ahead and stop Bitcoin exchanges in India. So just be careful of that as well. Don't try to put everything into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies right now, because right now the things are not yet certain as to what happens. So in those cases, you are the best person to make a decision for yourself, guys. Definitely be aware of all these regulatory things which are happening, and only invest those that you are okay to lose with. Okay, which you don't need for at least a couple of months or so. Or maybe a year, right? So that's just my opinion, guys. Do let me know if you would like to add something to it in the comment box below, and do share your opinion, thoughts. What do you think about the entire scenario in India right now? What do you think about the Ripple? What do you think about this announcement from the CEO of ARK Investment? Leave your opinion in the comment box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Take care.